All right, everyone, welcome to the July City Council Finance and Administration Committee. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a pretty heavy agenda today, so I might ask for council members if we could hold some of our questions towards the end of the presentation, but certainly if we need to go back and clarify anything, we would like presenters to do that today. But first, we will start off with Jessica Stratton with the quarterly financial report.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, so today I'll be going over the second quarterly financial report. As a reminder, the quarterly reports, they're variance reports. So I'm comparing year-to-date budget to year-to-date actuals. It is not a projection. So first, some housekeeping. So this is my general disclosure of how the city does their accounting work. The general fund uses cash accounting throughout the year, meaning revenues and expenses are recorded only when cash is exchanged. The accounting team makes accruals, that is, links the transactions to the time in which they happened only during the year-end process, which means periodic reporting like I'm doing today, and year-end reporting can be significantly different. Additionally, the city budget's annual figures, which means year-to-date budget amounts, have to be estimated. This estimation uses last year's spending patterns. So if department spending this year is very different compared to last year, that makes my job harder, basically. Okay. It's down. So the report itself that you have, which is like 30-odd pages, it has 4 sections. Section 1, which I spend most of my time today talking about, is the general fund. And we talk about revenues and expenses and reserves. And then there's Section 2, which is literally all other funds in the city. Then Section 3 is a CIP project status update, because we have, about 500 projects. And then Section 4 is economic briefing. Okay, so Section 1 again, general fund. It begins with this summarized table. So this is your at-a-glance of what's happening in the general fund January through June. And here we see year-to-date budget variance for the general fund revenues is unfavorable to budget by about 1.1%, and general fund expenses is favorable to budget by about 1.8%. Page 2 in your report dives deeper into the general fund revenues. So here we can see all the general fund departments and what their budget is for the year, and then year-to-date how much they've received. And in total, that says the general fund has received, at the end of June, approximately 40% of the annual budgeted revenues. Okay, so again, during the year, the accounting team only records revenue when cash is received, not necessarily when it's earned, so that is why you're seeing less than 50%. The next big influx of cash will be in November when the city receives the second half property taxes. And then as a reminder, sales taxes are recorded 2 months in arrears, and then some revenues, they don't even get recorded until the end of the year. So revenues all have different timings. Okay, so then we take a look at the non-departmental department because it receives 88% of the general fund revenues. This is where property taxes, sales taxes, utility tax, the big 3 are recorded. And this table compares revenue categories against last year's actuals. And what we see here is general fund revenue is experiencing about a 3% year-over-year revenue growth. However, when we exclude the transfers in because they can be, they're as needed, they don't follow a schedule, the revenue growth actually falls to 2%. So as of the first half of general fund, we're a little bit below historical average. Okay, so let's look at all the categories. So this breaks out the general fund revenue in total by category. It's a lot. Here we see sales tax is underperforming compared to budget and last year. As explained during the July budget study session, the consumer confidence has just dropped since the beginning of the year and is unlikely to rebound anytime soon. So this is as we'd expect once we apply economic factors. Property taxes are underperforming compared to budget, and it appears to be because of an increase to exemptions. So we have asked for county data, we've looked at county data. Categorically, it does appear nonprofit, government, and senior/disabled exemptions are on the rise. So we're still digging into that. Finally, utility taxes are trending unfavorable to budget for a couple of reasons. Our very own interfund utility taxes, as Marlene has said, the water usage has been lower at the start of this summer than usual. So we'll see if it picks up by the end of the summer. But as for private utility taxes, what we saw there was Avista's rate increases that they had petitioned the Utility Commission for, they were actually decreased in December of 2024. That was after our budget was adopted. We didn't have time to react. Okay, so those are the general fund revenues, and you can see again that 1.1% below budget is how we're trending at the very bottom. Page 4 of the report dives into general fund expenses, and what we see here is general fund departments and where they are expense-wise. There continues to be a few departments that are trending significantly under budget, which is a welcome offset to after looking at revenue. Police's large favorable variance appears to be driven by vacancies. It's their base wages that are driving their favorability. Other favorable variances seem to be timing or weather related, like human services, that is where like the hazardous climate program is. And so, it depends on smoke and heat and cold. But a lot of these should retain their favorability by the end of the year. Page 5 of the report gives a brief look into the fire department, which is operating above budget due to overtime. Chief Oberg has talked about this plenty. Recruit Academy #1 has completed, but with a smaller count of graduates than typical. And Recruit Academy #2 is planned for the fall. So we'll continue to watch and see on fire. Page 6 shows what is happening with the general fund reserves. The unaudited 2024 financials do indicate a $7 million unappropriated fund balance. However, it is the same size as the difference from the reserve targets. So I look to leadership on the strategy for that. Okay, so I'm wrapping up the general fund portion. The Q2 analysis confirms what the Q1 analysis indicated. Those revenues are lower than budgeted. It's real. However, 2025 expenses may be able to offset this. This is much like how just last year, 2024 played out. Our revenues were down, our expenses were favorable, and we netted to a small surplus. However, 2026 will have to be adjusted, and we are working on the mid-buy mod right now, so that informs this. So that's the end of the slideshow, but on your actual report, you'll see pages 7 through 21 outlines all the other funds beyond general fund for their revenue and expense categories. And on page 21, I have written a small disclosure about the city insurance funds. So we're talking about risk, unemployment, workers' comp, the employee benefits funds. They have all been experiencing significant and sustained claims. They will require SBOs to make it through 2025, but the expectations needs to be set that premium increases are coming in 2026. Pages 22 through 28 provide CIP project status updates. Again, we have a lot of projects going on in the city of Spokane. Again, roughly 2/3 is public works related. And then pages 29 through 31 are the economic indicators just for your consideration. Page 30 shows year-to-date taxable sales. Again, they're 2 months in arrears, so we're talking about April. They're down 1.41%. And then on page 31, you can see the community safety sales tax finally coming in with its first collection. Any questions?
Yeah, two things. One, I'm wondering, the variance report that you post online that we can kind of access, can you, in future iterations of that, update it to include the year-to-date totals for the past year? It only shows the full year, not the year-to-date on a monthly basis. So
Okay.
that'd be helpful. And then, let me find it. Well, somewhere in here, it had said that we were resuming the 3% annual growth rate for revenue. And I'm just wondering, with sales tax being down, property tax being a challenge, kind of how are we seeing that 3% come to fruition?
Right, so that is back to the non-departmental table. So here, so I said, it appears that we're resuming the historical average of about 3 to 3.5%. But when we take out the operating transfers in, it's actually more like 2%.
But those are just one-time transfers in, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not a estimate on the kind of the sustainable, forward-looking revenue growth.
Right. This is just the June variance.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Jessica, on page 4, just my own curiosity, the Office of Youth, is that the Chase Youth Commission? It's like $50,000.
Yes.
It hasn't spent very much money.
Correct.
That's what that is?
That's what that is. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
For the expenditures for police, this is through June, so this included all the overtime that was extra in June? And they're
Correct.
still under budget for the year to date
Correct.
so far? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions for Jessica? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Item number 2 is pulled. So next up, we're going to hear from Mr. Boston, a resolution appointing Kevin Schmidt as Director of Accounting.
Hi, thank you. So yeah, I'd like to just present to you Kevin Schmidt. We had an extensive interview and application process, got a lot of great applicants, but Kevin Schmidt rose to the top. He has been with us for just over 10 years now. If you don't know him, he is the accounting manager for public safety, so for both police and fire, and is widely familiar with what is happening here within the city and the challenges that we have. He started his career here with the city, like I said, about 10 years ago as an accountant one, quickly rose to an accountant two, then was promoted to the accounting manager back in 2018. Local guy, went to University High, then EWU for undergrad, then GU for his master's. And he's got a lot of great ideas on what the future of the department is going to look like. He's been a benefit to me even in the interim and before that. I leverage him all the time for his expertise and his savvy within the city as a whole. So without further ado, Kevin, go ahead.
Council, pleasure to be here. Not sure what else I can add beyond what Matt said, but yeah, just happy and grateful to be here and hopefully have this opportunity.
Any questions for Kevin?
So who will be replacing you in police and fire? Will
Well, that is a good
position-
question. So the civil service list is, there isn't one at the moment, so that position will be going out for advertising. Obviously, hopefully get some strong candidates, and the input of police and fire, I've discussed it with both of them already, with their exec staff, and they'll be included in that candidate selection.
So will you be bridging that until that
Yes.
position is filled?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a lot of hats, so.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Did you have one? Nope. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we're going to have our quarterly investment report from Connor Thorne. Thank you, Connor.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So today I'll be walking through the Q2 investment results. Usual topics include cash and investment balances, composition, and performance. So Q1 through, did I click it out? There we go. Thanks. So Q1 through Q2 is typically going to show upside, especially in cash and equivalents, as the city receives property taxes in May. And you can kind of see that consistency year over year from Q1 to Q2 and the jumps that we see there. Composition-wise, the portfolio is in compliance among all invested categories, according to our investment policy. Activity-wise, the portfolio had one maturity of $15 million that came in June, and that was reinvested according to our investment strategy in one $5 million U.S. Treasury and one $10 million federal agency. Looking at liquidity, short-term liquidity currently sits at $206 million, or 61% of the total portfolio. And you can kind of get an idea about what maturities are expected to come in that table below. We have one more that's coming due this year, about $20 million in August. Be a little bit quiet in Q4 until we start ramping up in 2026. And we're expecting about $85 million in maturity next year. Performance-wise, the part we all enjoy thus far, so $3.2 million unrealized losses has been lowered to $3.2 million, as you can tell on the chart to the right, from a high of about $12.9 million in 2022. And income-wise, year-to-date, we're sitting at $5.3 million, and that's projected to actually exceed budget for the year, which is a good thing. Results versus the benchmark, maturity and duration are slightly lagging behind benchmark, and that's largely due to the 2026 maturities we have coming due of about $85 million. As we reinvest those according to the strategy and the structure, we'll kind of see those edge back up towards the benchmark. And then coupon and yield have slightly increased since last quarter, as we're just taking advantage of opportunities that are still out in the market. And just to give you an idea about debt service, again, this is the slide we include here to see what debt service payments we have coming up for internal and external debt. And that's about all I have. Any questions?
All right. Seeing none. Thanks so much, Connor.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, next up, we're going to have guest presentation, Aging and Long-Term Care of Eastern Washington update from Lynn Kimball. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lynn.
Thank you for having me. We've got a little presentation to go with it, but while that gets started, I'm Lynn Kimball, Aging and Long-Term Care of Eastern Washington. We are, City of Spokane is a member of the interlocal agreement for our agency, and thank you for approving the amendment to the interlocal agreement the other week. That is very helpful. And so we serve older adults, people with disabilities living in 5 counties of Eastern Washington. So services and supports to keep people at home. And it's a wide range of different services. We serve people 18 and up, depending on ability, disability, in kind of all different ranges of income and everything else. Is it missing? I don't see it on there. Okay. Yeah, it should have come from Christina Scheidler. No problem.
Sorry. How long have you been in your position now, Lynn?
10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's time flies. It really does. Yeah, and been with the agency since 2007. So definitely have spent a good part of my career with aging services and helping to support people in the community. So the presentation, once it gets up, it lists out, it's going to look very familiar because it's really the same groups of services we've had the past several years, really focusing on how do you support older adults, kind of the group of senior services we do in the community, the group of services for families and caregivers, kind of supporting that unpaid family member, and then the group of services we do under Medicaid. So helping people get a paid caregiver in their home to support them to live at home.
So Lynn, while she's pulling it up,
Yeah.
why don't you talk about our new location
Yeah.
that we moved to?
Okay, yeah, we are now at 1313 North Atlantic. We moved, had been at the prior location on Post Street for almost, probably since the 80s. 80s, early 90s. We had been at the Health District building before that. So we relocated this last October. We're in one of the Rock Point East building and taking over a good portion of the 3rd floor. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, looks like we got you up now. So
Awesome.
thank you. Thanks
Perfect.
for your patience.
Yeah, no problem. All right. What's there? Okay. If you'd go to the 3rd slide, we'll go from there.
You should be able to.
Oh, okay, perfect. Awesome. So like I said, we help people live at home, live in the community, and we continue to maintain community living connections as our primary access point. So it's hard to help people figure out where do you start. Most people just need to talk through what you do, when you're looking at needing care for a loved one, where do you start? We work with people of all incomes in life situations. And like I said, there's those 3 groups of services primarily. So I wanted to come and just do an update. We're a little later than normal making the rounds to give data for last year. So just kind of an idea of who we serviced last year, a little over 9,000 people in Spokane. That information and assistance line, Community Living Connection, over 4,000 callers to that line this last year. And our options counselors did close to 3,000 hours of counseling on care options. And then around 500 of that was just counseling on dementia care. So we have one dementia care specialist, and she is very, very well used. There's not too many people locally doing a lot of counseling for family members. You can also see nutrition, close to 200,000 meals done by our provider, Greater Spokane County Meals on Wheels. Had over 800 clients who got intensive care coordination services. And then you can see there close to 5,000 people received Medicaid and home care. So it is a very big population for us here in Spokane County. So you can see wide variety of different services. Overall, for all of these services for Spokane, we spent about $19.8 million on services in Spokane. So it's a pretty significant part of our budget. And then for those Medicaid services, about $216 million are directly authorized for goods and services. So that doesn't go through our budget, goes through the Medicaid payment system, but that's payment for those family caregivers, paid caregivers, home modifications, ramps, all of those different goods and services that help people stay in the community and stay out of facilities. This gives you the age breakdown. So as you can see, we are primarily 60 and older, but thanks to Medicaid, we still have a percentage that are under the age of 60. And then this also shows race and ethnicity breakdowns as well. So we try to reflect as much as we can what does our local community look like, especially through where are we targeting services and outreach and getting out to the community. And then the last is just an update for walk cares. So that is kind of one of the big things that is changing for us as an organization. We are at Area Agencies on Aging helping to launch the Walk Cares program. So the state is doing parts of the services, and they are also contracting part of the services out to Area Agencies on Aging. So we've been busy doing outreach, education, talking about the program, meeting with employers, giving people information on what benefits are there. And then our big piece of work right now is provider contracting. We're in charge of all local contracting for goods and services. So we are starting that process. The portal goes live in October to register and contract providers. So we're out and about doing outreach with local businesses to get them on board to be able to provide services through the program. And then last is navigation. So if people call our helpline once the program begins, we will be able to help people through the entirety from call, help them set up all the way through benefits counseling and doing eligibility assessments as well. So it will not have to be a situation where we send people back to the state. We're able to keep them and help them through the whole process. And we will be launching the pilot. There is a pilot for Spokane County, Lewis, Mason, and Thurston counties to test the services for the first 400 consumers that apply for services in January. So kind of January through April is testing, and we'll be doing that alongside the state. And then it goes live statewide on July 1st. So happy to answer any questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Lynn played down how important aging long-term care is in Eastern Washington, that we became one of the pilot sites. So that's really exciting when we got that. I know, Lynn, we talked about what it's going to look like with the potential Medicaid cuts, because the services we provide is absolutely economic impact to our community, the people that are employed through that program. So how are we looking, forecasting a little bit down the road?
It's going to really depend, and I think the biggest challenge will just be the next state legislative session. When we look at Medicaid cuts and reductions and changes to eligibility and work requirements, many of those don't actually take effect until late 2026, early 2027. And our kind of group of individuals we're serving are likely going to qualify under a lot of the exemptions. So obviously, if you need long-term care services, you probably are medically frail. So you're likely to be exempted from those work requirements. What we're more concerned about is what is this overall state budget going to look like? Because we know when there's hard decisions, sometimes you make decisions about eligibility and everything else because there's only so much money available.
Great question. That was mine. Any other questions? Go ahead.
So along those lines, are you more worried about federal cuts or state cuts?
Honestly, more worried about state at the moment because we know federal, it looks like we're pretty stable for the most part. Funding, our populations tend to be prioritized when it came to the bill that went through. So it's just going to be what happens with the overall state budget.
Go ahead.
Yeah, do you have a sense of why the same demographics wouldn't be prioritized at the state level too?
Well, they might be. I always hope. You always hope. But I know there's so many competing interests and things that they have to prioritize when it comes to Medicaid, medical coverage, schools, and everything else. Yeah.
Well, thank you, and yeah, let us know, how we can help. This council did unanimously pass a resolution against federal and state cuts to the probability of Medicaid, so something we're certainly want to continue to engage with, especially as we begin conversations around the 2026 legislative agenda.
Okay, great. Happy to share information.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
All right, next up, we are discussing Q3 2025 HR range changes. Debbie DeCord, thanks so much for being here.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Council President Wilkerson and council members for having me today. I'm here to brief on, as you mentioned, the SBO for Q3 for 2025 for salary ranges that have been reevaluated. As you know, there are a couple different ways that they come to HR for a reevaluation request. This time, we only have a dozen. You'll notice them on the briefing paper. There are some that came through civil service request, department director request, and union request. And then you can see them by title and the ranges. Do you have any questions for me?
Go ahead.
Well, I have a question. I don't know if you are able to answer it, but you are in the document here. It identifies at least one new position. In fact, a pretty well-paying new position for a child and family initiative manager. And I'm just trying to understand the origination of that. What would they do? Why was that not put in our budget when we debated this budget last fall? I have a lot of questions, the least of which is, or the most of which is, how do we create a new position in a range change document? That to me doesn't seem like it should be inbound.
So the budget is the concern of the department, and so they have to make that work within their budget. So the creation of a position is separate, right? And we can help with that and do the range evaluation. Then it will go through finance, and they can determine if that department has that budget. Sometimes it's some positions have been vacated and they see a different need. And so there are many reasons that can happen. I am not able to articulate at this moment on this one in detail, but I'd be happy to get back to you with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, clearly it's here. I have zero doubts
Yes.
that this isn't already a planned position, maybe even somebody in mind that they're going to put in that slot. I have no idea. But to me, it's incredibly premature that we would have this here as it presented in a range change before we've had a presentation on what the actual role would be, why we're creating it, the purpose, all of those things. And so I'm just, and again, this isn't you. I doubt that you're involved at that level in terms of creating a new position, but I'm just kind of stymied as to how we got to this point without an actual conversation on creating a new position, particularly when we've got such challenging budget situation.
I understand your concerns.
Very concerned.
I will get back to you as soon as possible with any detail I can provide.
Great.
Thank you.
What department will this fall under?
That was, I believe, in Community Health Services that you were looking at, Councilmember Cathcart?
I'm not
That
entirely
was my
sure.
question.
It's
What
not clear.
department? I didn't, it was there, I didn't see it, sorry.
You do see it.
I did not see where department it was going to be from. You can email, it's not that, you can email me
Yeah,
back. That would be just great. I just didn't see it. So like, who would this person be under would be my concern.
yeah, I don't know that that's identified so much as the range being determined for the position.
Should we reach out to civil service for a job description? That's who I would call for that? Okay.
Go ahead, Councilmember.
Just one other, question. It also identifies a court administrator, which I thought was Howard Delaney's role, and so maybe I'm incorrect on that, but if it was his role, then I would assume that there was a former range, and this says that there wasn't one. And so I was just a little confused as to that particular item.
I see what you're looking at, and that is either we didn't put it in there or it's been slightly renamed or something. I'll get back to you on that as well.
Thank you. It's okay. No, yeah, no worries. Yeah, we'll look forward to the follow-up and some of the clarity around the new position as well as the court administrator.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Any other questions I may or may not be able to
No,
answer?
you're good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to have Public Records Request Performance Audit. We did just receive this memo, this executive summary related to this discussion. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, I'm not here enough to be a proficient human.
Okay, but you do have a presentation for?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it in the folder? Do you see it there? Should be that PRR audit, should be that, ideally. So, and then I get to control it, correct? Because of the format, it says you have to do it. That works. I'll just give you a little tap over with my hand. So, in case you forgot, I'm Danielle Arnold. I'm your internal auditor for the city. And about a year ago, I was tasked alongside PMO, and you can go to the next slide. With PMO to gain an understanding of the city's response to public records and the process in its entirety. Because public records are an ongoing thing and an audit always looks in the past, we looked at 5 years and with the cutoff date of December 31st of 24. So can't speak to current, so just keep in mind I live in the past. The battle already happened. So to the next slide. Basic objectives to the audit was just to gain an understanding of our current rules and expectations, both in-house and outside of house. And then understanding the actual process, because sometimes policy doesn't always mimic what practice happens. And then the big question, right, are we compliant? That's always a question the audit's trying to do. And then look for areas of improvement. These were my main areas that I focused my testing and evaluations and interviews on. So a lot of this particular audit was about the data that was available to us in GovQA, as well as the humans that do the operations both within the city clerk's office and the Spokane Police Department. Muni Court was not included in this audit specifically because they have a different set of rules. And so I was maintaining the RCW compliance rather than the municipal court rules. I followed state, then our rules, then I looked at the actual process flow. I evaluated the software, hardware, and data storage in the way that the city operates within that. We looked at the data and whether or not there were opportunities for performance measures and whether we were using that data to use in that manner. I looked at the organizational structure. Currently, the city is set up as a decentralized method of responding. We have the city clerk's office that does primarily all of our responses, and then we have SPD doing their part of it. With that said, it's heavily dependent on all of our staff being highly educated on how to work with the two different responders and understanding the rules and regulations associated with public records. And then like most things, it's people, right? So I have to look at their workloads, the staffing, and the personnel dynamics within that. Those were all the areas I looked at, and the audit report ended up being somewhere in excess of 30 pages and looked at across best practices across the state and what I was seeing of opportunities to improve. With that said, we had some recommendations. But I want to start with the statistics. The biggest thing you'll notice is that we have a compliance rate of in excess of 93%. That's weighted between the city clerk and the police department, and the audit report itself has more details to it, but it gets a little numbery and that gets a little boring. But the big thing is you'll notice that's different from the first time I presented to you when we were still mid-audit, and that came down to the PMO and I working together to better understand how GovQA and the RCW calculates the 5-day rule. And so honestly, that's a very good percentage considering most things are handled within that 5-day response. That's the piece that's required by state law. The other part, the part that gives people a lot of opinions and emotions, is how long it takes to get something done and through the finish line. And for the most part, the city does a really good job. We do have some that are in excess of 6 months, and most of those are due to complexity associated with either there's subpoenas associated with it, there's video associated with it, or somebody decided to ask for like 10 years worth of stuff, and so people are having to do their due diligence. The staff on both teams do a very good job at giving installments. It may not feel like it when you're the receiver, but they actually do a very good job. So from all of this came recommendations. Like I said before, what we do in policy versus what we do in practice don't always align. So the audit noted that the city's administrative policy hasn't been updated within just under a decade. So it's time for it to get a little love and align with state law. That being said, current practice is in alignment with state law. So I want to emphasize that we're not out of compliance when it comes to that. Our policy's out of date, which is, we'll pick a policy in the city, it's probably needing a little love. So technological improvements in efficiency and improvement to record management. Like I said before, the city's record management is decentralized. The way that we save things is all across the city, and there's not a lot of strategical saving thought on how to locate things. And it's heavily dependent on what we have and how it speaks to each other. If you've been here at the city for a little bit, you've noticed that some of our software doesn't talk. This is true here too. So we have a decentralized process in the way that things communicate, which means it slows down the process. That's just the reality of how technology works. If it's not talking to each other, it's requiring a human interaction, it slows it down. We currently are not utilizing our performance metrics the best way that we can. We have all of this data in front of us, but we're not really utilizing it to see if there's opportunities for the data to speak to us. I will be working with PMO to clearly define what that means and how we as a city can better improve that as it moves on. The city is an enormous beast of people, right? Over 2,000 people work for the city in some capacity, and effectively we're all responsible for our own public records and responding to our public record coordinators. When I did my interviews, I noted that people don't feel necessarily very educated on how to do that or what the expectations are. So the emphasis to train people on what their roles and responsibilities are on this process is invaluable to helping our public receive their requests faster. If you don't understand that you're the reason something's slowing down, you're unintentionally part of the problem. And so we fix that by educating people on their roles and responsibilities for that. As I stated before, it's a decentralized process. So SPD works independently from the city clerk on most things, but every now and again there's this overlap that happens because city clerk is responsible for some of the documents and SPD is, but because we don't work together in the same house, in the same space, there's delays. That's just the reality of it. So there's a consideration for a reorganizational structure in the future. How do we better align this so that they all speak the same voice in the same manner? Personnel dynamics. What I noticed is that the employees at all levels, from staff to management, want to improve the process, but their workloads don't align for any kind of improvement to morale and trust. And so what you end up seeing is a disconnect in improving a process because they don't feel connected to each other and want to improve the process. Or they don't feel safe to speak up sometimes, and that's problematic. We need people to have the ability to see something, say something kind of opportunity. So we do that by helping our management. We train our management first on how to better support our staff, and then by default, our staff rises up. That being said, the workload of these human beings has grown while effectively the staffing levels have remained constant. I recognize that we're in a budget constraint. I'm aware of these problems. That being said, that's the reality of it. When things increase and the human capital piece doesn't, time is always the thing that ends up extending. And then, as always, the only way improvement happens is with continuous improvement. So you take whatever the recommendations I put out there and have as an opportunity to improve, and you go, I like these ones, and then we continue to test it to see if it's working and to improve upon it. At this point, I'm going to take a pause because the next section of this presentation is about management's responsibility, and I'm an auditor. I'm not manage it, so they get to speak to them. So here's Maggie.
Good afternoon, Council. Thank you, Danielle. Huge thanks to Danielle for her work on this audit. It was incredibly meticulous. She spent a lot of time sort of fact-finding and then putting together her findings. Also want to extend our thanks to the City Clerk's Office and to SPD and to other departments who manage a lot of our public records requests and gave a lot of their time to help inform the report. Just wanted to run through sort of what the mayor has directed and what steps the administration's already taken in response to the audit's findings. So already, in terms of the first recommendation, we've asked City Legal to start reviewing our internal policies and making sure that they're not only aligned with state law, but also with our current practices, which, as you heard Danielle say, are consistent with state law. We just need to update them at the city and with their relevant departments like the Spokane Police Department. The second recommendation is to take advantage of technology, and our IT department has actually already created an internal program that helps expedite some of the review for city clerks and SPD. So that's wonderful. And then they're also exploring ways to leverage AI to help basically pre-redact for city clerks review. So looking at that and some other potential strategies to, again, expedite records requests responses without sort of falling outside of the RCW. You can go ahead, Ginny, to the next slide. Data reporting and performance metrics. You heard that the clerk's office is responsible and obligated to report several metrics related to PRRs, and we have a lot of that information already. And so the project management office is going to be working on putting together an internal dashboard so that we can better track requests as they come in and then sort of where they are in the process of response. So that will help us, again, sort of monitor not just the discrete requests, but how we're doing overall. Next, looking at Public Records Act training, we have already asked legal and HR to work together to create a more robust sort of orientation to the Public Records Act, and then also put together an annual refresher training for city employees. We looked at the organizational restructure recommendations in the report. These obviously have impacts for labor, for civil service, and importantly for our budget. So that's something that we'll continue to look at, but it's not sort of an easy step to take. However, we did create a new position in the city clerk's office in the last biennium budget. And it's my understanding we also reclassified a position that was already in the city clerk's office from an executive assistant to a records specialist to help address the growing demand that Danielle articulated. And then in terms of personnel management and improvements, because we now have our new HR director, we're again sort of refocusing and reemphasizing the need for those performance evaluations that will help us continue to look at how we're doing in terms of our response times, continuing to educate employees during those performance evaluations, and again, sort of underscore this continuous improvement priority and culture. And then lastly, in that same vein, we'll be looking at doing another audit in a year to see how we've implemented all of these recommendations, how we're doing, and then continuing to look at the PRR process annually.
And then I just want to emphasize that every single human being that I interact with, they gave me everything they could with the best of their abilities, and without their input, I don't even start an audit. So I need to emphasize SPD and the city clerk and legal and every human being that I talked to was precious, and I appreciate all of the work that they gave me, despite the fact that it ended up with a 30-page audit report for me to type. But their work was invaluable. Any questions about this, the presentation, the executive summary, you shoot them my way. If you've got questions about how management is responding to the said recommendations, I encourage you to speak to administration specifically on those. The audit report will be published on SharePoint under the internal audit SharePoint page, so you'll be able to read the whole dang thing and all the fun tables that are in it. It's dry, and so I'm telling you right now, this personality doesn't come out on paper. But I've got all the time in the world off the dais for anything you want. But here, what do you got?
Councilmember Bingle and Council President Wilkerson.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for this. I mean, any year-long project, when it's done, I'm sure there's a sigh of relief, like, thank God that's over. But it's a really important aspect of government, and so thank you for what you've done. Thank you for the administration for asking for this audit. I think that that's going to help our transparency with the community, and I think that, the more that we do along this, the more that we're building trust with the citizens, and so I appreciate everything that you guys did here.
Yeah, I did cry. I'm going to be real honest. There was a lot of happy tears.
Yeah.
So.
I echo that. My question is, and could it be for finance, could you tell me what it has cost us when we have not been in compliance with public records requests?
I am unaware of that, but I'll get some. I'll do some research and I'll talk.
We just know it's pretty litigious. I know there've been a lot of efforts at the state level to kind of reform public records requests. So just a curiosity, if we've had to pay for not being in compliance on public records requests.
Yeah, I'll get back to you offline.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. At the Association of Washington Cities conference this year, and probably in previous years too, but I especially noticed it this year, there's various vendors that are offering technological solutions like Llama and other platforms that are supposed to make it super easy to process these requests. And as a completely ignorant in these areas elected officials, they all look very promising, and I have no idea if they really work or what their reputations are, or if those are even within our grasp budgetarily. Do you have any opinions about that or insights?
I have no opinions because that's a dangerous place for an auditor to go. I can tell you anything requires legwork in the front. So when I talk about our decentralized way of saving, that would always be where we have to start when we want to try to look towards technology. We always want to look what we can do in-house before we go out of house, especially in budget constraints. So I know that my finance leadership team has been actively working on things like that, and it's always about starting in-house and getting ourselves cleaned here before we want to reach out. And as Maggie stated before, our IT department, Laz was excited, is my understanding, and he already implemented tools from an in-house perspective that is helping the city clerk and SPD. So that's a very high-level not opinion, but it's always from audit's perspective, start in-house, clean yourself up, then look outside.
Thank you. Any other questions for Danielle? We'll just thank you again. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I remember that we got a presentation from the police ombuds office about public records and some recommendations from their office about that, particularly taking out public records out of the police department. That didn't sound like that was one of the recommendations that was here, or is that part of the reorg?
That
that
had nothing to do with my audit, so that was something that they did outside of me.
Maybe, Maggie, if you have thought about that, I don't know if that came up in this process at all.
Yeah, I believe there was, I'll have to go back and look at that OPO report. I think there was some recommendations in addition to the SPD's policy. So I'm happy to look into that again. But I do think what you're touching on deals with the reorg recommendations. And what was identified in the audit is sort of creating a new public records officer and having dotted lines or lines of some sort that would go to police and city clerks and others. But again, there's a lot of sort of intricacies that we'd have to work through.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, might have some more follow-up around the organizational restructure piece, but really appreciate all the work that went into us. And thank you so much for the presentation as well as the executive summary. All right, we are going to play a little agenda hopscotch because we have 2 council members that need to leave early. So let's jump ahead to item 21. Councilmember Cathcart, if you want to take the scraps letter.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. It's, and we discussed this last week as well. But essentially, it's making a request of the county that the city play a role in the hiring process for the new director of scraps. As folks know, we've had challenges with some of the operations of scraps, as well as relationally with scraps and the county leadership there. And so wanting to find some way that we can really work together to collaborate on new leadership, and hopefully one that will take a lot of the concerns that we have had and our constituents have shared with us to heart. And hopefully that would lead to a much better, more responsive agency for everybody. So that's the idea.
Any questions for Councilmember Cathcart? Well, I do really appreciate you giving a heads up to the folks at the county too. Thank you so much for doing that. All right, next up, item 22, resolution revising council boards and commission appointments. Mr. Wright, you want to take that away?
Yes, as the council knows, we annually adopt a resolution appointing council members to various boards and commissions. With the departure of Councilmember Navarrete, we obviously have some holes in our appointments. The first step here is just simply to adopt a resolution that clears out her name from our current appointments. At some point, obviously, we'll put in a new name and a new collection, but new assignments. But for now, the ordinance just simply reads with blanks for the spots that were previously occupied by Councilmember Navarrete.
All right, any questions for Mr. Wright? Go ahead.
Just is the intention that we would vote the 18th or 25th, the week after the?
I think we're looking at the 18th on that one, yeah.
Which would mean then that amendments are due.
That's your question. Go ahead.
Yeah, if it were voted on the 18th to have a clean copy, we would have to vote on those today. So I don't think they would be voted on the 18th unless there was a suspension of the rules. On the 18th, there could be an amendment that would then create a clean copy that would then be voted on the 25th.
I think that's right.
Which then the amendments would be due the Wednesday before the 18th.
Okay.
I see a hand up from Jacoby Bird. Take it away, Jacoby. Okay. Well, I think I'll just jump in here and say I think the preference would be to give us some time. I think don't think this is something that we want to rush into. Obviously, it takes a while for just even the council member to get some onboarding. And we can look at, I think as well, I mean, we'll do our committee reports at the end, but I think we still have some committees up there too that are, we might need to take a look at that might not be meeting. So I think certainly there's some reflection and things that we can do for the council work group as well to kind of examine that before we take a vote. So I would be in favor of slowing it down.
Yeah, I would too. And also we were talking about what are we statutorily obligated, where are we to serve? I mean, there are some of these committees that board members, we've been asked by nonprofits to serve on them, but they're really not in our statutory obligations. So I think we're doing a good review of that based on the amount of time council members have. If they want to serve on the board outside of this council, that's absolutely okay, but it will not be mandatory that they serve. So more to come on that.
All right. Not sure we could get Mr. Jacoby in the room, but any other further questions on this? You can follow up with Jacoby. Okay. Thank you. All right. Going back up. All right. Spencer Gardner, Development Code clarification on density.
Good afternoon. This is an interim zoning ordinance that is proposed to rectify an issue that we've discovered. So you may recall back in January, we did a pretty significant code update to follow on from our building opportunity for housing work. One of those changes was to relax the methods that we use for calculating density to provide some additional flexibility for new subdivisions. What we did not realize is that the method that we updated in our code, which applies generally, mirrored a companion set of language in the planned unit development ordinance. And so we did not update the planned unit development portion and its calculation of density. So we're simply proposing to amend the language to point to the overall methodology that was adopted in January so that there's no confusion about how to calculate density, essentially. We're proposing this as an interim ordinance so that we can make the change quickly. As far as I know, there is no development that has been approved up to this point that would need this, but we recognized the issue and decided that we should address it now. We're not running it as an emergency or anything. It would run through the normal process. But as an interim ordinance, we expect to make a permanent change as part of our code updates with the comprehensive plan.
Thank you. Any questions for Spencer? Well, you're on the docket for a couple more items, so jump right into streets, alleys, and driveways.
Sure. So we have a presentation for that one. Okay, and I think this will control it. Is that right, Jenny? All right. So these two ordinances that I'll be presenting are sort of related in that we identified some issues due to some recent land use decisions that highlighted some challenges in our code in terms of clarity, and we were getting outcomes that we weren't anticipating. And so we're just coming forward with these clarifications so that future development can benefit from the changes and that we have clarity all around. I actually think my addressing presentation has a slide about that, so maybe we'll come back to it. But first of all, policy guidance, I pulled out some of the comprehensive plan language that focuses on, especially on infill development, because the clarifications that we're seeking here are ultimately pretty heavily related to infill development, where we've seen these challenges come up. So at the top, we have our street design standards that talk about shared driveways being a preferred method for providing access to multiple houses in higher density situations. And then we have some comprehensive plan policies. All of these are very supportive of efficient, infill development that takes advantage of existing infrastructure and provides for a variety of housing types in all areas. So kind of building on the work that we've done in the past. So the proposed changes, this first part is specifically about streets, alleys, and driveways. We're looking to improve our definitions, especially clarify the treatment of front lot lines on through lots. So I should have an image here, but if you imagine, there are occasionally situations where you have a street with lots that abut the street, and then on the back side of the lot is another street rather than an alley or another lot. That's called a through lot, and under our definition of front lot line, that means you actually have two front lot lines. But when you build a house, you only have one front of the house. And so I'll get into it, I guess, but the proposal is to clarify how those situations are treated. Also adding some specification for the city engineer to be the authority who determines how to designate a street or an alley or driveway. And then we wanted to reorganize the section around private streets to make it a little more readable and to clarify what types of plats can use private streets as a way for providing access to properties. So on some definitions, we're proposing to remove the term commercial driveway as a formal definition in the code. This is in part related to House Bill 1110 that prohibits us from treating single-family homes differently than middle housing. Our existing definition for commercial driveway draws a distinction based on whether you're a single-family home or anything other than a single-family home. So in talking with our engineers, they determined that that definition wasn't actually necessary. We decided to remove it so that there's no concern about compliance with state code. We also are proposing to redefine the term driveway I've kind of grayed out the existing portion that we're proposing to strike, but if you read it, it says, a driveway is an all-weather surface driveway structure as shown in the standard plan, so we're using the term we're defining in the definition of the term, which is a bit of a problem. So we're refining the definition there just to have something that's a little clearer to everybody involved. I mentioned through lots, so the change that we're proposing here is that the planning director would have the authority to determine how to apply requirements that relate to which lot is the front of the lot when you have two front lot lines. We wouldn't want our, for example, we have limitations on access and we have certain design standards that apply to the front of the building. We wouldn't want to apply that to both sides of the building when you only have one front of the house. So the planning director has the ability to determine which standards should apply to which front lot line, essentially. I mentioned clarifying that the city engineer is the one who designates streets, alleys, and driveways and determines how to apply those. So that's a clarification that we're adding in the form of a new section. And then again, we're proposing to restructure the section that deals with private streets. So the first portion of that section includes, just as an example, limitations on putting public utilities within a private street, a private alley, or a private driveway. That's longstanding practice in our code, but it was buried within some paragraphs within the code that didn't make it very clear. So we're bringing that forward to make it clear. And then on the platting types where private streets may be allowed, again, this is longstanding practice, but was not very clear. Planned unit developments, binding site plans, mobile home parks, and unit lot subdivisions would all be platting types where private streets may be employed to provide access to the properties. And then we also have taken from the existing code and organized into specific criteria that the city engineer should be reviewing in determining whether a private street is appropriate for a specific circumstance. Lastly, we have a change to the section on alleys, and that is specifically related to dead-end alleys that the city engineer needs to review dead-end alleys and make sure that they are approved by the engineer. And then it just clarifies the city engineer again. There is actually something in there to specify as well that when we talk about alleys in the code, we're generally talking about public alleys unless it specifies that we're talking about private alleys. So those are the changes to the section on streets, alleys, and driveways. I'm happy to take questions now, or I can do my other presentation and we can do it all as a whole. I guess I'll take direction from you. Okay. So again, this is kind of a companion ordinance that arises from the same issue, and this is specifically related to addressing. So there's, and this was the slide that kind of covers both, the recent land use decisions that have come across have highlighted that we needed to clarify some of these things. So this is just experience that we've had in recent months with development that had challenges because of some of these issues in the code. So we're just trying to bring that forward. And we do know that there may be some upcoming projects that could be similarly impacted, so we wanted to bring it forward soon so that we address that and development can move forward. Let's see. The pointer doesn't seem to be, there we go. So the addressing code is in a chapter 17D 050A, and this outlines the purpose. So main purpose is we want to make sure that our emergency services professionals can locate an address and arrive there quickly and efficiently. Second, we have rules about how you display your property, again, just to make it easier for people to find how you display your address and signage and things like that. And then last is more just for the general public to be able to navigate our streets and have an easy time finding where addresses exist. So that's the purpose of our addressing code. Again, the policy guidance is really focused on infill development because that's where we're seeing some of the challenges here. We were involved with significant stakeholders internally here. So our addressing administrator, which is in the Development Services Center, we worked with Spokane Fire, Spokane Police, and with SHREC. We understand there may be some changes on that front in the future, but our coordination has been with SHREC so far. Obviously, whatever takes place later, pending whatever actions are happening there, we will continue to make sure we're coordinating. So the proposed changes are, again, clarification on definitions, and in this case, specifically ensuring that the definitions that are used for the purposes of the addressing code section aren't construed more broadly to apply across lots of sections of code. That was a challenge we ran across. There's some definitions that make sense when you're working with addresses that may not make sense when you're looking at other sections of code, and we have separate definitions for those. So we want to be clear that in our definitions for addressing, we're only talking about addressing, and those definitions should not apply broadly. We want to ensure that infill development can use alternative forms of addressing when there are not enough numbers available. And then we want to provide flexibility for the addressing administrator to administer the addressing code as necessary in circumstances where there may be a need to deviate from the literal standards. The primary goal here is the addressing administrator knows what fire and police need for an address to be readable and findable. And there are occasionally circumstances where our code can't perfectly anticipate that. So we'll get into the changes there in a moment. So the definitions, again, we're talking about making sure that application is limited. I already talked about that. This is the big one. There are situations where a plat comes forward, there are not enough numbers on the street. Let's say it's, 118 is sandwiched by 116 and 120, and somebody wants to subdivide 118 into 2 townhome lots. There isn't a number to give them because the next number on either side is already taken. And so we want to provide flexibility so that our addressing administrator can assign addresses without having to go and force the neighbors to readdress in order to accommodate new numbers. So as recommended by the Plan Commission, the addressing administrator may append a letter. So I used an example here, 118A and 118B, so that you don't, again, have to readdress somebody else. You would have 116 and then 118A and 118B and then 120. That is consistent with how some other cities address this problem. So Seattle and Portland are 2 examples that we're aware of that use this method. I know there may be concerns from, in terms of on the data side with SHREC and with our addressing administrator as to how they can accommodate that extra letter. This was Plan Commission's strong preference, and so they made that their recommendation to the City Council. The next option that's available is to use the standards for multiple units. There's a section that is not proposed to be amended here that details how you provide addresses when you have apartment complexes or things like that. If it's appropriate, the addressing administrator could look at those rules and assign addresses accordingly. And lastly, if no other feasible option is available, we did want to leave open the possibility to readdress nearby parcels as a last resort. So the preference from Plan Commission was to make it clear that that should be the last resort, but also to leave that in case it is necessary. Also, flexible naming of traveled ways. The code currently reads that only a street may be assigned an address. There are existing circumstances where we've assigned, where streets can be assigned names for purposes of providing an address. There are existing circumstances where we've named an alley. Railroad Alley is a good example. I'm not sure how much of that is necessary for providing addresses, or it may serve other purposes, but there are some isolated circumstances where we have assigned names. And there have been instances in the past where a development could have benefited from flexibility in providing street name or names to something other than a street, for example, an alley or a driveway. For purposes of assigning an address, I don't know that it matters whether it's a street or an alley or a driveway, as long as it's consistent. And so our proposal is to update the code and make it clear that those are usable means for providing addresses, especially in circumstances where a street may not be providing the access to the property. This is the last one. I mentioned there is a section existing in there about deviations from literal compliance. The current code reads that any deviation would require the approval of Spokane City Council. In our conversations with Shrek, they've pointed out that no other jurisdiction they're aware of has such a requirement, and their recommendation was that we give our addressing administrator the authority to make those deviations without having to come to City Council to get approval for those. So it is our suggestion that we also remove that from the code and leave that up to the addressing administrator. I think that covers all the changes, so I'm happy to take questions.
Go ahead.
So if in the future we allow development to front onto an alley, for example, would that be where we start naming alleys?
Potentially, I don't want to speak for the addressing administrator. I think the ultimate goal here is to give the addressing administrator the ability to address in the way that they feel is going to work best based on the input from emergency services. That could be a situation where an address or a name on an alley does make sense. I just don't want to say that's the only solution because I think there are multiple solutions and it's sort of a contextual thing.
Yeah, I guess for the last point you made, I agree. I mean, it feels like it might be a little too cumbersome if there's an issue that you have to bring it back to council unless it really rises to some sort of a really drastic change. My only caveat to that would be if it's the opinion that we're going to mandate that others change their address, then I do think that should come to council. But if it's merely providing an alternative relief for the new unit, I just don't see where that would need to come back to us.
Yeah, the deviations from literal compliance, I guess since I don't administer the code, I'm not really sure if there's an example I can point to, but generally it's intended to be small things like if you need to change the ordering of building numbers or something like that, the administrator would just have the ability to do that.
Great. Okay. Go ahead, Councilor Kliski.
I've heard a little bit of constituent concern about driveway frontage. And I think that possibly the concern is people potentially using it like a street and interfering with pedestrians and safety. How long of distances are we allowing for driveway frontage and how large parcels would these be intersecting?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it did come up during the Plan Commission hearing. I mentioned that there have been land use decisions that have highlighted some of the challenges here, and you may be hearing from some of the people who were involved in those previous decisions. I think one of the things that we want to make really clear is our code requires direct frontage onto a street, public or private, in the vast majority of circumstances. So if you're just doing a regular plat, for example, you're building 100 new homes on a 10-acre property or something like that, our code requires you to have frontage on streets for every single lot. If you have to deviate from that, you have to follow our planned unit development code, which has its own requirements for access, and we're not proposing to change those. So driveways would generally not be the preferred approach there either. Where I think this is going to provide a benefit and where we honestly historically have been allowing for this is in situations where you have difficult topography or a street network that's already in existence that won't provide for the connections that you would be looking for if it was like a greenfield development. The ability to have a driveway that can serve properties, a shared driveway, is pretty important. If you look in our unit lot subdivision code, it's capped at 9 units. In the planned unit development code, I don't think it provides a cap, but it generally does require, again, access to a public or a private street in most circumstances. So I don't have a direct answer to your question in terms of the length, and I don't think the engineers actually think in terms of length. They tend to think more in terms of the number of units. And 9 is kind of the threshold we've identified in the unit lot subdivision code. I'm not sure in the planned unit development code if there's a similar cap.
Thank you, Council President, and then Council.
Well, I'm really interested in the alleyways because there's a number of them that are actually paved in the East Central neighborhood. So if you don't have paved alleyways, you should move to East Central. My second thing is, who is this addressing administrator? Who is this person?
So Development Services Center is the department that manages addressing. I believe those duties currently fall to Jolie Elison or Eliason. She is an engineer in the Development Services Center. So she tends to manage that code, and I don't think that the code specifies a specific person. I think those duties can be assigned in the department as necessary. So if she were to leave, somebody else would take on those duties. But as a department, it's the Development Services Center.
Thank you.
Great power comes great responsibility. Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, just, I think we really need to get to the point where we're allowing for frontage in the alleyways. Laneway housing, to me, is sort of that next step in how we can both create more density without creating disruption on the residential streets. So it's sort of a win-win across the board, not to mention just making better use of the land there. In Kendall Yards, where the driveways or where the vehicle traffic is kind of funneled, are those actual alleys or are those extended private drives? Do you know?
I actually don't know the answer to that, and that's a pretty good example of where we feel the city engineer needs to have the ability to designate those in a way that works. So I believe they are alleys. There are some that are named, and that's another good example where we've provided a name to an alley, and our proposal is just to kind of formally recognize it.
It's another example of where we need to legalize Kendall Yards across the city. And that's sort of the term I've used for several years, is that, we allowed for this to happen in this one area, and then we immediately changed the code, and it can never happen again, which is crazy. But we need to get back to legalizing that, I think, across the city. And so, in my mind, what we're talking about is a bit of a distinction without a difference, since, we can't even say, is it an alley, is it a drive? They're effectively serving the same ultimate purpose. And so I don't know that it matters that we get into that muddled definition between the two. But ultimately, if we're going to say, hey, you can have these alleyways that folks can connect to, you can call them driveways if you want, then it's consistent with where I think we need to be going across the city, where we have established alleys. And actually, if you look at Google Maps, I'll just say it'll tell you that the alley's name is sort of the two parallel streets plus alley. I don't know if that's formal or official in any way, but that's how Google labels them.
Yeah, that's correct.
Councilor Klitzky.
Yeah, I agree with Councilmember Cathcart, but I think the constituent concerns are that it wouldn't be built like Kendall Yards. All of those alleyways in Kendall Yards have sidewalks. And so there's this grade separated infrastructure for kids if they happen to be playing out there. So I think the larger concern is how many of these are going to have some kind of curb or sidewalk for pedestrians to walk through, or in some cases in Kendall Yards, there'll be kind of a separate pathway, separate pedestrian infrastructure that goes through the development more so than the streets do. So I think it really works there. But some of these smaller developments, I think, are where people have concerns and where I would like to see it limited to like 9 units, like you're saying.
Okay, go ahead.
I had a question about driveways too and the all-weather surfaces. This came up from some constituents that don't have alleyways, that are on arterials, and they often park in their yards. And so just trying to get clarity on what are economically affordable options for those all-weather surfaces, so that we have it that's environmentally appropriate, but also possible. Otherwise, they end up just parking on the grass and being non-compliant with the code too. So I want to see if there's option in the code to give lots of, or guidance on what they can do.
Yeah, that's, so residential development on arterials, I think, poses special challenges for vehicle parking, for example. Our code does prohibit the siting of parking areas between the house and the street. I think the goal there is that we don't want parking lots essentially between the street and the house. But there are, I think, situations where, our code does allow for a driveway, for example, to lead to the side of the house and provide a parking area along the side of the house. That is possible. In terms of economic options, I need to research, but I believe a recent change in state law requires us to allow gravel as an allowable parking surface, and that would probably be a significantly less costly way to do that.
Any other questions for Spencer? Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right. Next up, we're going to have Maggie Yates for 3 agenda items. First, the discussion about establishing the Emergency Communications Center.
Hi. So as you know, at the last Shrek board meeting, the board voted to terminate the service level agreement with fire and required the city to establish its own primary public safety answering point. So this ordinance establishes the Emergency Communications Center as the department that is going to serve as our city PSAP. This will allow us to start doing all of the sort of foundational work that will be required. But we need this department to get started. And then it also repeals some old code language that references the old Combined Communications Center and also delineates the responsibilities and duties of the PSAP. Any questions on that?
Go ahead.
Just when will we have more of a timeline of establishing the various components, programs?
Yeah, I'm happy to come back to council and brief you on Shrek and sort of our current status, but we're working closely with the project management office, police and fire, and have several different project teams to collect our requirements and to put that timeline together. And then we're also working closely with the state 911 office, and we've had meetings with Shrek as well, because anything we do needs to be closely aligned with their timeline in terms of moving out into their new facility and launching their new CAD program, et cetera. So a lot of moving pieces, and we're moving as quickly as we can to sort of map that out and figure out what a reasonable timeline actually looks like. The state made very clear that it's ultimately their responsibility and decision to flip the switch on to turn the calls over from Shrek to a city PSAP, and that they won't do that until they are confident that it is safe to do so. So we are going to make sure that we do everything right and that we have a great system set up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Maggie, in this, it speaks to establishing a special fund for the PSAP. Is that what dollars will be flowing into this special fund? Just 911 tax? I was just trying to get my head around what this fund, what dollars this fund will be holding.
Ultimately, it's our aim that the sales and use tax for emergency communications and the 911 excise tax apportionment to the city will go to the special revenue fund. We have to work that out with the county, and we've reached out to them to do just that.
All right. Any other questions for Maggie? All right. We'll go on to the next item. Names and duties and departments within SPD.
Yes, so this ordinance updates the names and duties of the two departments in SPD. Previously, we had the police business services. This ordinance would change that name of the department to administration and investigation. It would house a litany of sort of units, including victim advocacy, special events, major crimes, DV, civil enforcement, special investigations unit. And then it also would shift police accountability and administration to the Department of Patrol, and that department's functions really is around calls for service, place-based policing, things like our neighborhood resource officers. And really, this is just to align the department with Chief Hall's strategic vision for the future of SPD, and he would be here but had other meetings, so here on his behalf.
That's right. Go ahead.
So, Matt, great with the realignment. Has all this realignment gone through the collective bargaining agreement? Has this all been worked out? No positions are lost? Realignment cost?
Correct. We've been in touch with HR, but this doesn't touch the sort of labor pieces at all. This is working through just the renaming of the departments. And then the other pieces I have are just having council confirm the directors of those departments.
All right. Any other questions on this topic? All right. Sailing through. All right. Resolution appointing director of patrol.
Yes, so Assistant Chief Steve Wool was appointed as AC early on in Chief Hall's tenure, and we would like to appoint him to the Department Director of Patrol, and under the charter, it's required that council confirms those department directors, and so bringing him forward for confirmation.
All right. Thank you. That's it.
There's one more later on in the agenda for the appointment or confirmation of AC Singley. I don't know if you want to handle that now or have me come back. All right, so similarly, AC Singley was promoted to AC under Chief Hall, and we'd like to appoint and confirm him to the Department Director for Administration and Investigations.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right. Next up, we are going to have Adam McDaniel. So we have daycares and child care centers interim zoning ordinance. And then we'll have you do items 14, 15, 16, and then we have you do 18 as well.
Great. There we go. So I won't go through all the data on childcare. I think you guys know that. And there's a lot of great community partners that are doing a lot of great work in this space. But a couple of things I wanted to point out was just a recent study by the University District that showed that in the 8 zip codes closest to the downtown core in the University District, there was nearly 7,000 children that lacked access to childcare. And then the economic impact of a lack of childcare was something that the GSI put out here, I think last year, that was really kind of eye-opening for me. So the city has really kind of limited tools in the ways that we can help childcare. But one of the things that we can do is through our zoning code. So an ordinance that we're bringing forward, and thanks to Councilmember Zappone and Councilmember Dillon for sponsoring this, is to remove the conditional use permit process related to daycares and child care centers in residential zones. So essentially, the ordinance would permit daycares and child care centers in all residential and all commercial zones. And what that does is basically implement Senate Bill 5509, which was passed by the legislature earlier this year, a couple of years early. Any questions? This is also an interim ordinance, so it'll have to go through the Plan Commission and the official process, but we're kind of getting rolling on it early. All right. The next one is the out-of-town fee-free business license process. And so state law requires us to have a model business license. So they create this gross income threshold that says if you're out-of-town business and you make $2,000 or less, then you get a fee-free business license. Occasionally, that model business license ordinance is updated by the state. They've done a threshold change. They moved that threshold from 2,000 to 4,000. We need to adopt this by mid-October and get that over to the Department of Revenue. And the effective date of that ordinance would be January 1st of 2026. Any questions on that one? All right. The next one is a repeal of SMC Chapter 0901. Back in, I think, 2016, council member, or former council member John Snyder, I think, led the passage of the city's Earned Safe and Sick Leave Ordinance. It was superseded and sunset by Initiative 1433, which was adopted statewide and created a statewide Earned Safe and Sick Leave standard. What this does is essentially repeal the old ordinance out of the code. Any questions on that one?
Just to clarify, we're not getting rid of sick and safe leave at the city of Spokane.
We're not, no. And then the last one is an update to the municipal code around how we do our grants processes. And we got our great grants team in the chambers today, and they can answer any questions about their process. But essentially, there's a little bit of lack of clarity in the code whether when we're going out for joint applications with community partners, whether council should approve that partnership before we go out for the grant, or whether they should just be informed. Honestly, we've done it a couple of different ways. We've passed a resolution, we've come to committee. What this says is that basically, to make it easier on the grant staff to get them trying to maximize their time and efficiency, is that they'll come to council anytime there is a grant application with a joint community partner over the minor contract threshold. And they'll kind of give you a heads up. And there won't be any approval process, but you'll know in advance when they're going out for a joint application. Any questions on that one?
I think the concern had been when people were applying for grants before, there was a matching component. and that was not always shared with council, like, we're going to get a mill, but you got to put up $200,000 to match it. And so many times that had not been budgeted for, and we weren't going to turn down $800,000, but we didn't have $200,000 either. So I guess just with the clarity of information only, that would be great.
Any other questions for Adam McDaniel? Well, I just have two follow-ups really quickly. So on the, let's see here, 6,800 on childcare, 6,800 workers fired because of lack of childcare, which is should shock us all. That's just indefensible. But was that in the city or the county?
I think that's from the countywide.
Countywide, okay. And then maybe for just a future, I think finance, getting a better understanding of just our overall grants and what we've seen sort of come in now that we do have a grants team that has been firing on all cylinders. What this has looked like to supplant some of the city budget, some of the one-time, I think, expenses versus ongoing really since 2024, because prior to that, I mean, we had ARPA, obviously, we had some other funding streams, but for example, with some of the state funding related to Safe Routes and the Bike Ped grant, and seeing that money come in now, how that's kind of working in tandem with some of our overall transportation funding here at the city. I think getting a better understanding about how some of that is delineated would be really, really helpful.
Great. I'm sure that we can do that.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to have John Snyder, Transportation Benefit District Revenue.
Hey, good afternoon, Council. I wanted to bring a brief discussion item today about Transportation Benefit District revenues. Earlier in the spring, you got a presentation on this year's program and some information about where our revenues are going. And I think it showed you that things are flat in the TBD, which is, odd. We are a growing city in Washington State. Tracking of population for car ownership is pretty close. So we have almost 8 million people, and we have about 8 million cars in the state. So we're growing. You would expect our car registrations to grow too. And we've been digging into that to try to figure out where that shortfall is coming from. Some of it has to do with compliance, right? Not everybody is updating their registration in a timely manner, and I appreciate the police department reiterating that that's a thing that they look for. But I think we found something that's bigger than the non-compliance, and that is the increase in heavier trucks. So back in 2005, 2006, when the Transportation Benefit District was first instituted by the legislature, there was a cutoff. If a car or a truck was over 6,000 pounds, they didn't have to pay for the TBD by state law. I can only speculate, but I'm thinking that at the time they meant to try to exclude commercial vehicles. Well, in the 20 years since then, our personal vehicles have gotten bigger and heavier. So trucks that are full-size or heavy-duty that are above 6,000 pounds are steadily increasing in the country and also here in Spokane. And when we dug into some of the numbers through Department of Licensing and open data, data.wa.gov, we were able to put a rough number on how many of those cars are here registered in the city of Spokane. And it's about 18,000 vehicles. So that's a lot. If you turn that into $20 per a year for registration, that's $360,000-ish that we could be using to fix streets here. So I just bring this to your attention because we just wanted to share our research with you. And this could be something that could be thrown in the mix for the council legislative agenda, as we are not the only city in this situation. There's over 50 cities in the state that use car tab TBDs that might benefit from this.
Great. Any questions? Go ahead.
So get the tonnage we have not increased, a conversation I had been part of a while back, we have not increased our car tab fees, which we can do without going through, or it could be an interim. I mean, it's at $20, it could go to $25. That would be a modest step. I think the one is between $20 and $40 for license tab fees. So why have we not pursued that as we're looking at this? This might be a heavier and longer period of time since we're just starting the conversation, John.
You know, you could always look at it. In Washington State, you can go up to $100. No city has done that. Generally, most cities are either 20 or 40. You know, that could be a part of the discussion as well. But I thought maybe, you know, identifying this loophole would be a first step. And I do call it a loophole because we know that heavier cars do more impact to our pavement.
Definitely. Any additional questions for Mr. Snyder? Well, I did do some research, and Cybertrucks do weigh over 6,000 pounds, so look forward to that. All right. Moving along. Thank you so much. So we do have a contract with Friends of KSPS. That was in the consent item, but we'll go ahead and move that to discussion because there was that request that came in late. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hello, council members, council president. Yeah, this is for a funding from the PEG dollars to KSPS. It's for just under $65,000. Councilmember Cathcart had some questions. He's not here, but I know what they were. He just wanted to kind of know what this is. So the PEG funding is public education and government. This funding is decades old FCC requirement of the cable companies. So this is Comcast money that comes to this, well, through my department, and it's what allows us to air this on City Cable 5. And we give money to the channels that support the public access and education. We are the government. So KSPS handles the education channels, and that's what this money is for. They use it to buy equipment that helps them produce content that goes on Comcast. Any further questions? Yes.
I thought some of that PEG money was also used to purchase community equipment through the library.
Yes, and that's because now the public access has been moved to the Spokane Library. And so they will also have money that they can spend. The difference is that because their accounting and budget is kind of within the city, unless they spend over $50,000, they won't have to go through, get it passed through council. This, because it's going outside of the city to KSPS, is a lump sum that we set aside for them. This year, that's a little less than 65 because we peeled off some money to give to SPS to buy, I think, a camera. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
All right.
I think you nailed it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Last item for discussion is the ordinance titled Safe and Welcome in Spokane. So we did hear this in committee 2 months ago. So this is bringing this ordinance back up. It hadn't passed on June 30th because of the required emergency clause. So this ordinance removes that. It also clarifies the enforcement component that was already aligned in our Title 12 code related to immigration enforcement in the city of Spokane. So a person who is aggrieved would have a path to a private right of action. And then another big change, I think, is to clarify, and again, this was related to immigration enforcement in city non-public areas, to clarify that that would be for ticketed events. So adding the word ticketed in there. This is obviously a pretty hot issue, I think, in the wake of Tacos and Tequila deciding to postpone their event due to a lot of just community fears. So that is what this ordinance aims to address, and just bring it back through its legislative process. Any questions? Go ahead.
So based on the training bulletin that Chief Hall put out, Councilmember Dillon, where's the connection around the enforcement piece?
That's a good question. That's something that we could follow up with SPD around about how that comports. This was kind of moving around the same time as that announcement went up. But certainly I think there is room to perhaps work with SPD and identify if there has been an incident for that individual that has been aggrieved to take action.
I think it's great. I was just concerned that people have expectations that we will not be able to deliver on, and that private rights to bring something legal would not be the city, it would be on them as a person. So I think we just need to put that out there, because we keep hearing, why isn't the city protecting our people? And that's a difficult thing to hear for an elected, but we do have constraints as well as how much we can do.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions or commentary on this ordinance? Well, thank you, Andreas, for working to bring this back, and Alex for all his help too. And I know that we're working on a FAQ for the public that will also help answer some of those questions and clarify. All right, moving right along to
Chairman Dillon.
Oh,
can
go
I
ahead.
just, alert council that Mr. Byrd circulated an email indicating that the deadline for amendments on the resolution relating to boards and commissions is Wednesday, 5 p.m., August 13th. The resolution will be up for final consideration on August 25th.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, we will first start off with committees and then go to staff reports. Council Office Operations Work Group.
So we did not meet. We had some things in the works, but did not meet. I am just currently on the Equity Subcommittee, so I have not been to that meeting. So Alex Jabalisco may have more to give on that one. And if you just scroll down, Jenny, we heard from Aging and Long-Term Care from Lynn today. And I think that's me.
Yeah. Thank you. Just going back up. So Fiscal Impact Work Group, this is another one that we might look at as a cleanup, as we haven't met, and I'm not sure of its current relevancy. Language Access Work Group, I know that you just came on for that as well, replacing Councilor Navarrete. Let's see. Legislative Committee, we have not met, but I know we're going to get an update from Mr. Paulson. Investment Committee, not met. SERS Board, Councilmember Bingle is absent, but we did have a presentation at the last Finance Administration Committee from the SERS Board on the VRIP and some of those ongoing discussions. AWC Board, Councilmember Zafone.
Yeah, we said goodbye to our great, fearless president, now former president, or former president. She came off the board temporarily at the last AWC board meeting. And that was at the conclusion of the AWC conference. And just to highlight for everyone that the next annual conference will be next June here in Spokane. So highly suggest that we start planning ahead for that. And then AWC other conference will be in Olympia for the Action Days in February probably. Besides that, after it was largely about the annual conference and collaboration across the cities. I'm also on the Large Cities Advisory Body for policymaking, and we met and talked about some of the challenges that the large cities, by AWC standards, that's 50,000 and above. So we're the extremely large cities. But a lot of the challenges that we're all sharing and having, and kind of shared best practices around that, and talking about how do we convene as a group of large cities to share some of our lessons learned from Vancouver and Olympia and other cities, largely around impacts around homelessness and clean and safety issues.
I'll just add to that we are also looking at setting our legislative agenda. We have a representative from all 13 regions. So that's being formulated that we'll be voting on in October. So if you have ideas that you want to advance, please let myself or council members Zafone know.
Thank Thank you so much. We'll keep scrolling down. Tacky, Councilmember Zepone.
Yeah, that hasn't met again. We'll be meeting again going into the fall after our first round of disbursement of funds. And so we'll be doing that next round coming up here into the fall.
Great. And just fire pension and police pension both didn't meet last month.
We only meet every other month, so we don't have a meeting.
Okay, Launch Northwest, Councilmember Beal's gone. Spokane County Veterans Advisory Board, Councilmember Klitzky.
Unfortunately, that meeting doesn't have a remote option, and it happened during the Association of Washington Cities, and it also only meets quarterly, so I feel like I missed a important meeting there, but they did discuss concerns about federal and state cuts, and they also made progress on their partnerships with Fairchild. I do need to reach out to them and get a complete report on what happened, though, and so I did want to remind everybody that they have representation on that group. Every meeting ends with like a Q&A and feedback session, so if you have questions about the veterans services in our region, or if you have suggestions, please get in touch with me, and I can bring those along when I try to catch up with Kat Nichols, who runs the program.
All right, thank you so much. TPA Commission, Hotel Commission, Councilor Zepone.
Only meets about once a year.
All right. U District PDA.
So on the U District, we are getting ready to vote on new board members, and also there's lots of development considerations for the property right around the U District by the bridge. There's some empty lots of expansion, childcare, mixed-use housing, so that's all in the works. It's all about funding right now, though.
Thank you so much. Visit Spokane.
Yeah, I was unable to do that because I was during the AWC annual meeting.
But we do acknowledge Rose Noble, who was just appointed to the National Board of Visit. I don't have the exact name on it, but we have representation there, so excited for her.
Yeah, appreciated her update at committee last month as well. Looking forward to more updates here from Rose. She's doing amazing work. All right, West Plains PDA.
We have not met. We are in the process, we're in a holding pattern waiting for our new CEO of Spokane International Airport, what that collaboration will look like in the development of the land around the airport for future growth. So more to come.
Great. And Councilmember Cathcart is absent, so no Northeast PDA. Eric Polson, come on down.
So these dog days of summer are really the time we focus on state and federal legislative agenda development and outreach to political people. But of course, 90 days removed from the end of the legislative session, legislators are back to trying to live their lives. Congress has checked out for a little while. And so we're trying to get as much outreach in as we can. Right after you get back from your break, we'll be having a legislative team meeting where staff will recommend changes to our federal agenda. I think it goes without saying the landscape in Congress has changed dramatically. A lot of brutal cuts have come down, which you've heard earlier today, to the state and to our level. And so we want an agenda that really reflects the reality of these changing times. But that's not to say everything is terrible. We got news late last week that the city's $1.25 million grant for rapid response teams, the SMART teams as they're dubbed, is still alive and well in the appropriations process. So thanks to our senators for that. I know you heard from Steve McDonald recently, new market tax credits, which are a huge boost for economic development, were made permanent. So we're trying to find the silver lining in federal budget cuts, but keep pushing ahead on the stuff that's important to us, including Latah Valley or Latah Bridge repairs, lots of things. So I can give you more of a preview, but I don't want to eat up too much time. On the state front, we've had some great meetings with legislators over the past month. Again, some good news, not all good news. You were with me, Councilmember Dillon, when we met with Senator Riccelli, who made pretty clear that our approach to addressing the waste to energy issue is going to require some different thinking, a strategic shift. That our particular proposal that's still alive in the Rules Committee probably doesn't have a path. So we need to really dig into that and look for another way of tackling that problem. We made tremendous progress on land value tax as a way to incentivize development and lower property taxes. And by we, of course, I mean Councilmember Klitsky almost single-handedly with her assistant Sarah has had some great communication with our own legislative delegation, but also lawmakers outside the region who head up important committees to that issue. So feeling really positive about that. You've heard a lot of new ideas emerging, including expanding TBD revenue, just a host of other issues. I had a great session or a great meeting with the entire planning department after the legislative session where we did a deeper dive on what passed during the session and what they're looking ahead to in January. And I think that's going to be a great template for me to get to other departments around the city and, find out what's really important to them and not to take away from the administration's own process for doing that, but that's been really helpful to me. So I've been working on that. Some of you, but not all of you, are aware of our problem with Spokane Police Academy funding. So we secured $1.4 million several years ago to enable expansion of that facility. It wasn't enough to complete the job, so we secured another $750,000 this past session, thanks to Senator Riccelli and efforts of Jackie McConnell and the police department and Councilmember Wilkerson. But it turns out that initial $1.4 million, because of the way the budget cycle works, was basically clawed back by the state budget process. And so now we need another very spirited effort to recoup those dollars that were lost to keep this project on track. So that'll be a heavy lift, but not out of the realm of possibility. Got a bunch of other odds and ends, but you'll be hearing more about that as we get into the fall. We really started our state agenda development process in earnest in September, really focused on our federal agenda in August. And of course, session's just around the corner, so lots of work to be done.
Great. Any questions for Eric? Well, I'll just say this was a particularly tough session, and a lot of longtime lawmakers acknowledge that too. So just really appreciate your work. I think Spokane really came out on top. A lot of that was through a lot of amazing collaboration and your work, so thank you.
Thank you. Likewise to all of you. Thank you.
All right, next up we'll have Lisa Gardner, Council Communications.
Good afternoon, Council. I'm just giving you all an update on a possibility of a new box on our agenda setting sheet, our briefing sheet. I've heard you all being more proactive in getting out in front of community. So this is going to be a community engagement box that we are going to work with the clerks to put that on there so that it alerts you all and you guys can select that, and that will then alert me to work with you and your legislative assistants in regards to any community engagement that you will need on an ordinance before it goes to first reading. So that gives enough time for community engagement. And even if it comes before a committee, we can do that as well, so that we're doing a press conference, social media, a survey, whatever that community engagement looks like, we're doing it ahead of time, because too often we hear, well, was there any community engagement done on this? What does the community think? And there hasn't been any community engagement done. So let's get proactive about this, put it on the agenda sheet, something when you're drawing that up that I know about it, I work with your office, and we can get that done.
So Lisa, have we developed a template, a standard template or something for community engagement? We say it all the time, and it's just like all over the place. It could mean 100 different things to 100 different people. So have we narrowed that thinking down?
You're correct. And I actually have a meeting with a lot of the initiative managers, I believe all 3 of them tomorrow, to talk about what a community engagement toolkit will look like, because it's sometimes hard to get something out within 30 days. So what does that toolkit look like? Does that mean that they're going to do a survey? Will we work with different departments on that? So yes, we're going to strategize tomorrow on what that actually looks like.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could provide us kind of some of our outreach and statistics from social media, other touch points, just kind of regular updates of our council outreach stuff, that we can have those updates here at council.
Yes. So you're asking if we can have,
Like how many interactions have we had, kind of those sorts of, just kind of our metrics for our communications of what we're doing as a council department, not individually, but as the council communications director.
So previously, it's been pretty much all of the things that we've done as far as tools, and the tools that we have are either doing a press release or press conference or social media engagement. Now, as far as the metrics and measurements of that, there hasn't been actual measurements. There's been impressions. There's been, of course, if we have media who asks for an interview or reaching out, but it's always been something that's reactive. So doing something that's proactive, that's going to give me the ability to be able to do that metrics that you're asking for.
Councilor Kaliski, then Councilor Zafon.
Thanks. I like this idea. Is there an opportunity for us, if we have something coming up, to just sit down and meet with you and try to decide what would be the best proactive policy, maybe before the template's done, or?
Always. There's always time for any of your legislative assistants to come to me and brainstorm and strategize about that. So yes, absolutely.
Well, I was going to ask, I've gotten behind, are we still doing council connections? Is that still an option?
Council connections have always been an option. It's something that I've always pressed on to the council president or council members. If they want to do one, to please contact me. I think that I've reached out to several of the council members and asking if they've been wanting to do a council connection. Always, if there's something that you want to do that we've not done or a topic, please come to me and we can definitely pan that out and work on it.
Yeah, just to follow up, I think it would be really helpful to have kind of just an update of metrics of what we're doing on our council outreach on communication. So you could say last month or whatever the time period is, we've done X number of press conferences, this is the number of impressions we've had, this is the number of posts we've had, just so that we can set those goals and be proactive about it. It's hard to do that if we don't even know what our current baseline is. I think you've given like an example for the past year before, but just something that we can constantly be checking and pushing so that we're doing, more communication, more outreach as a council.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's fair.
We're a bunch of seven-spirited people. So when we want to do a press conference, Lisa, I think we need a little bit more guidelines of how much lead-in time.
Yes.
Because I know you have to work with Cable 5 to set up that structure. So
yes,
really email us and say, you know what, I can't assist
Yes.
you unless I have at least 48 to 72 hours for
Yes.
something going forward.
Ideally, 48 to 72 hours in advance. And not only that, keeping in consideration that City Cable 5's down to 2 people, 2 staff members. And so it becomes really hard on them. Council Connections, Equity Spotlight, anything that we do, it's really making sure that we have enough time, sufficient time to schedule with them as well. Not only that, with anyone that we want from the community to be part of the programming, we want to give sufficient time for them as well, especially for press conferences. I know sometimes press conferences are hot and they're time sensitive, and we want to get those out there. So, but I think 48 to 72 hours is great enough time for announcement of a press conference.
Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead.
And last one, I know this has come up like from the very beginning when I've been on council, just having a communications plan and kind of strategic strategy. I don't know if you have an update on kind of some guiding goals that we can have as a communications for our council on that strategic plan.
I do, and so each year I try to meet with each of you individually to go over that plan and talk about that, but if that's something that you would like to do more often, more than willing to do that. I usually try to set those goals at the retreat. My portion of it got cut last year, so I was unable to give that to the council, but more than welcome to sit with either of you, any of you at any time to go over that, or even do it at the beginning of the year or quarterly.
Just
One
one
more-
follow-up.
one more.
Yeah, I would just say, I ask kind of for all staff, know that it's really helpful to have that brief to all of council and to the public about what those are and how we're delivering on those at these kind of staff updates.
Sure.
So thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Lisa. Appreciate it. All right. Next up, Kate Fairborn.
All right, well, thank you all. Today, I don't have my
That's okay.
budget deck because you are going to be treated to in-depth presentation of where we were at the end of the first quarter, or the second quarter, first half of the year, council style. So make sure if you're scheduled with me in the next 2 days that you can either make it, or I'm more than happy to sit down with any and each of you individually and do kind of the deep dive of the numbers that we got in kind of brief form today from Jessica. As you know, I like to put our own spin on that data, make it look very accessible, and put it into a greater context than Jessica and her team have time to do. So please be looking forward to that. And if what you see on your calendar is not really going to work for you this week, I know because it's kind of crunch time for all of you, please, I'm more than welcome to sit down with you either virtually or in person. I can understand with my cold if you want to do it virtually. But that's on deck for this week. This past month, I've been working on that. I've been revising our 6-year forecast rather substantially based on where we are right now and the extremely dynamic macroeconomic conditions. So I will have some slides that you'll see that kind of reflect some of the dynamic forecasting that we're doing right now. And then other than that, just a lot of special projects and working really hard at trying to figure out where we as a council want to help direct the administration for 2026 and that mid-biennial review. And again, that'll be kind of included in the slide deck that we'll be doing this week, just some ideas based on the numbers. So a lot in this 14 slides. Try to keep it under 15 slides. So again, just really hope I can have time from each of you to go through that. And I'm expecting that that will engage a lot of conversations in follow-up. And if any of you ever do want to sit down with me and go through the ginormous macro-laden spreadsheet that I've designed for the 6-year forecast, I'm always happy to do that as well. So,
Thank you. Any questions for Kate? Well, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I'm wondering if you've done any research or have started looking into any different types of revenue options that we have at our disposals.
Yeah. In fact, I shared one with Ginny and Paul not too long ago. They're
I'd be interested in
limited.
hearing more about it.
Yeah. I'd love to sit down with you. And I mean, it would be fun if we could put together a little brainstorming group on that. I think that would be a really exciting thing for us to try to do. It's really a head scratcher. It's not a lot of options that we haven't looked at, but that's not to say there aren't any. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. And thanks for all your work on the budget priorities resolution that we're going to be approving tonight.
Yes. All right.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, Alex Jablisco.
Good afternoon, Council. This is going to be a short update compared to last month. So we have Equity Subcommittee still recruiting for new members. We set term limits, so some people were able to roll off. We're hoping to hold interviews the 14th and 15th, so if some of you might be interested to be a part of interviews for that, that would be great. And then also, we're looking to move our meetings to the third Wednesday of the month at around 12. That's just being more flexible with our volunteers' schedules. And then we're committing to one quarterly mandatory in-person meetings as a subcommittee. When it comes to language access, we created a summary page that we then translated into plain language and then are looking to translate it into our designated languages, and we're just waiting on those translations to get back to be able to start creating the web page and then start working through the workflows. I think Andres is really helping us out in that, and that has been very helpful.
Great. Any questions for Alex? Go
I
ahead.
have a question. Just to thank you, Alex, for the information on the SeaTac Airport and their diversity and what they have on their website. I kicked it over to our airport, which they are reviewing, and it was just things for people of different backgrounds, cultures, what they can expect, what accesses are available to them, information. So I appreciate Alex keeping his eye out for those things to make sure that we are still on the cutting edge of informing people what's going on.
Go ahead.
I kind of want to echo that on STA and SRTC too. I think you do a lot of things behind the scenes to help us out on our regional boards and commissions that we don't necessarily talk about here, but appreciate what you're doing and keeping us informed on those.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Really appreciate it. All right. Last but not least, Jacoby Bird.
Council President, council members, thank you for your time. I get to update you on everybody's favorite topic, council rules. I am drafting a memo that will hopefully be helpful with getting us all, on the same page in terms of what's intended by the rules that we adopted this year. And I appreciate your guys' feedback on what it is you want to see, which is, in my mind, clean final agendas. And so everybody's a different style of learner. I'm going to draft a memo, but I've also kind of drafted a process map for y'all to try to kind of get this in a visual sense laid out for everybody. Take a moment over the next couple of days to review this and mark it up. Let me know what you like, what you don't like about it. This process map takes into consideration what I'm calling late amendment opportunities, which we've been seeing more and more around. Maybe the deadline was missed, but there's an amendment that comes in the following week, and then we trigger that automatic deferral to allow for some additional time for internal staff and external stakeholders to kind of digest what was just adopted. So this is my way at trying to kind of visualize it. I'll also have, like I said, some more written explanation of this, but a heads up that that's coming. Next up for me to update you on internally from the council office side of things, working on with some of our staff on updating our SharePoint and the way that we utilize that as a shared space for document creation, management, collaboration. So your staff will probably be involved in that process, but I have to keep you out of it so that you guys aren't collaborating with each other in that way. So just a heads up that that's going on behind the scenes. I've also been updating our meetings with higher security on our WebEx platform that we use in order to kind of stay away from any potential issues with WebEx or Zoom bombing. And then I wanted to just plug, I will send out some calendar invites for these or reminders around these two topics, but on Friday, September 5th, we've got our Council of Governments meeting at the fairgrounds. I'll make sure I get that on your guys' calendar. Council President is in conversations with county officials about maybe seeing what kind of agenda items we want to bring to the table at that meeting from the city side of things and from the council member side of things. So that's September 5th. And then District 3 Town Hall is just around the corner, September 15th. I've been working with Councilmember Klitsky and Zappone's staff on drafting the survey that will go out later this week to kind of understand what District 3 wants to talk to you all about so that we can be prepared with some educational opportunities and with the appropriate staff present to answer any questions. So any questions, comments for me?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Byrd, for that graph you had up there for amendments. I just throw it out there again, as we'll be starting community engagement around changing our legislative meetings from Monday night to Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, because a lot of those challenges are presented when we have holidays. That makes it difficult, which is why if you look around our area, all government municipalities meet on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursdays, and that's for a reason. So more to come. Thank you, Jacoby.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, that will conclude today's Finance and Administration meeting. We will see you in August. Thanks so much.